Good morning, UC fans. Part of the Grueling Truth Radio Network is UC Bearcats on the Prowl. With me, as always, is my co-host, Mark Fightmaster, and I am always James Ernest. Mark, who's our guest today?
Well, we've got former Bearcat football player Danny Milligan. Danny?
Yeah, hey guys, I appreciate you having me on today.
So I thought maybe we could start off by having with everything that's I think everybody would. Hello?
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, something's going on with Mark's phone.
Just as we said, can't trust those things.
Exactly. Yeah, perfect timing. Yeah, I was going to say, I think he was just doing it as an example of what could happen, but he was basically asking, what have you been up to? What have you been getting into the last year or two?
Yeah, so life has been good. Been able to follow my Bearcats and kind of keep track of them and see what the great things Luke Fickell's doing with the team. Obviously, having a good season so far. And then I've been able to work in the business world for a great company, Cintas, which is very well known here in Cincinnati, the tri-state area. And on the side, I've been working with some athletes at the high school level with wide receiver and kicking, kind of just helping them kind of refine some tools during the off season.
Nice. So what are your thoughts on the season so far? I mean, UC is, they've only lost the one game there to Ohio State. Now, obviously, it was a pretty intense loss, but not, that important of a game in the grand scheme of things. I mean, with, being non-conference. So what's your thoughts?
Yeah, kind of like you said, it was just a game. It was a good way to measure ourselves against some of the big dogs out there. However, I think Luke Fickell has them on the right track. It was exciting to watch the past week against Marshall. Desmond Ritter kind of having a solid game. I don't know the stats exactly, but I saw very few incomplete passes. I think it was 4 touchdowns that he threw. It was the first time I felt the team wasn't one-dimensional. I thought they're very heavy on the run game, and this past weekend, I think the whole team just really came together. Into the division with a strong win like they did over Marshall.
Oh, definitely. I agree with you. I mean, that was a really nice win, going into conference play. And, of course, with the big game, I mean, this Friday night, which is just crazy that the big game is on Friday night. What are your thoughts about that?
I'm excited. I'll be there. My wife will be there. We'll be with the alumni. There's no place like Nippert Stadium on a night game. It's really magical. It's intense. It'll be a fun one to watch. In Central Florida, they are good, and they'll push us every which way for us to be perfect on offense, defense, special teams. It's going to be another opportunity to showcase what Coach Fickell has done over these past couple of years.
So, what are your thoughts on the post-football game events? Are you excited about basketball? I mean, they're sold out. That's a good sign.
It's a great sign, isn't it? I mean, nothing's better than being on campus for UC sports, and I think with the renovation of the state arena, we got a taste of how things were last year, and how that new arena is just kind of magical. Like I said, nothing like a Nippert Stadium at night. I don't think many things beat a full-out, sell-out crowd at the arena. So, yeah, I mean, love going to baseball games, but basketball, football, is really top-notch at Cincinnati.
I agree with you. And you're right, the baseball doesn't get enough credit. I mean, they have a really great Marge Schott Stadium as well. So there's all kinds of great things going on at UC, it sounds like. And then, of course, during the Midnight Madness, they'll also be highlighting the women's teams, the women's team, which has been getting better as well. So all kinds of good stuff there. Will this be your first game attended this year, or have you been to some of the other ones?
No, I've been to actually two. So we went to the UCLA game. My wife and I. She's an athlete of her own, playing at Northern Kentucky volleyball. But so anytime we can go watch alumni, whether it's Northern Kentucky or Cincinnati, we try to do it. So I got to see UCLA, which was just a fantastic game. Back-to-back years, giving them kind of putting on a showcase versus UCLA and showing the West Coast what us small town Midwesterns are all about. And watching the Miami game as well with those throwback uniforms. Wish we had those back in my day.
So the nice thing with Coach Brannon, of course, he's the best of both worlds for you. He's got the experience at your wife's alma mater, and I mean, 3 out of 3 years going to the postseason. I mean, you got to be excited about that.
Yeah, no, it's we actually, because of her playing volleyball, we were able to watch a couple of NKU games live at their facility down over in North Kentucky, and so I've seen him for a couple of years now, and looking forward to a little bit of change. I'm not going to lie. I loved Mick, especially as a person. Absolutely great guy. However, I'm excited to see an offense, kind of a run and shoot type deal, not just purely a defensive mind scheme, and then kind of struggled at half court. Something I always thought that they needed a little pick me up.
Exactly. Yeah, Coach Brannon is going to really energize them and get them going at a higher speed. I mean, obviously, you cannot say anything bad about Coach Cronin. Great guy and a great coach, but it'll be just interesting to see the change of pace. So, Mark, is your phone working?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
There he is.
Hey, I'm back. I was just with all stuff you guys are talking about. I think it's going to be interesting to see Coach Brannon's new style of basketball, basically for us. With kind of, you could have called it plotting at times. It's people can do with over there.
One sec. There you
Hello?
go. One sec.
Yeah, can you hear me? Hopefully it's on my phone.
Oh, no, it's not yours. We'll get it fixed in just 1 second.
No worries.
Hello, Mark.
Hey.
Excellent. And then Danny, you.
I'm here.
Excellent.
What the heck is going on? I'm sorry, guys. It's my phone.
No worries.
So you were saying about Coach Brannon and why you're looking forward to it?
Well, I'm just looking forward to seeing what his style of offense, what his style of basketball is compared to Mick's. With the same guys, it'll be interesting to see. It could be a lot of fun. And then the other thing, I was asking Danny if with this game coming up Friday night, being a night game, I can't remember when he played. Were there any big night games at Nippert?
Oh, geez. I'm sure I could go back to a couple. I know, we hosted, I think, South Florida. Pitt, I believe. There was a year. I'm trying to think. Oh, that Big East Conference was amazing. And under Brian Kelly, I think we had, almost every game almost felt like it was a TV broadcasted night game. I don't think one specifically sticks out to me. But the atmosphere absolutely does, especially when the student section shows up and they're just there rocking all 4 quarters.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
So, going back to the events this Friday night, I mean, it's going to be awesome. You got 10 p.m., you got the doors open, 10:30, they're going to do an autograph session, 11:30, they're going to introduce the men's and women's, and then midnight, I wonder if they're going to let Batman shoot it like they did, let him kick the field goal for $100,000. I don't know who you got to bribe or give kickbacks to. You know, maybe it's Ryan, maybe it's Andrew on the staff, but I definitely would love to be the person shooting that shot. What do you think, guys? Could you all hit a shot for $1 million, or I mean $100,000?
I think we would all love to, wouldn't we? I'll take my chances. You know, I just gotta get lucky one time, right? So
exactly. Oh, shoot. And then, of course, they're going to have scrimmages. They're having 3-point shooting contest, all kinds of great stuff. So it should be a lot of fun. So, now you mentioned you do coaching, Danny. Who have you been coaching up?
Yeah, so I work real close with my alma mater in St. Xavier, where I work with Liam Clifford, Lucas Cates, and then every now and then just kind of, there are 2 wide receivers there. Liam Clifford is a great athlete. His brother Sean is actually the quarterback over at Penn State. So I've been able to work very closely with him over the last couple of years, kind of get him comfortable because he made the transition himself from quarterback over to wide receiver. So getting used to body control, hand position, placement on different throws and catches that he'll be making throughout the season. And I'll tell you, he's come a long way, but it's so natural for him, and that's the fun to work with, the fun athletes. And then besides that, also worked with a kicker at Roger Bacon, a kicker down at Norwood. So I kind of get plucked here and there. People just kind of reach out for maybe one time just to kind of show them some routines maybe to go through before games or to practice throughout the week, to get some advice on how many, maybe if it's kicking, how many balls to actually kick during the week or before a game, so they're not fatigued, but they still want to get that strength, especially during season, because that's so important that we don't want to overkick kickers in practice. And then it's also just what to pick out from during film and how to get better watching yourself on film.
So where on social media, where on the web can they get a hold of you if they want some coaching?
Yeah, absolutely. They can go on to Facebook. It's called Southwest Football Academy. Or they can look up my name, Danny Milligan, and they can follow it that way as well. Usually try to, I don't do it for money. Luckily, I've been blessed with a great job, a career, really. But this is something I just really enjoy, helping the athletes better themselves. I love working with kids that are trying to get to the next level or just trying to improve their daily skills. So I do, do $50 an hour. Usually that's helps me pay for my gas going across town or wherever, because I will come to them. They don't need to come to me. So the goal is just to work things out and hopefully get the confidence going, because the game of football, just like any other sport, really is 80% mental and then 20% physical. If you can conquer that confidence, really nothing can stop you.
And I agree with you, and that is actually a very reasonable rate. I mean, gosh, yeah, most coaches are usually a couple hundred, and you have to go to them. So, I mean, for you to be able to be willing to do that to help out the youth, and, of course, I mean, like you said, it's not about, making money doing these things. It's about, giving back. It's about helping the kids get to that next level to really see the impact. Like, it sounds like that young man with Xavier is got a bright future ahead of him.
Yeah, and they all do. And I'll work with kids from typically 7th grade on up through high school, and each class or each session is obviously very different with each individual. I'm not going to teach each kid the same exact same because they don't learn the same way. So the goal is to really get that individual just a little bit better through the one-on-one training.
So, Mark, unfortunately the phone was going out when we were talking up Marshall. What were your thoughts from the big game?
It was good to see Desmond kind of hit his stride a little bit. He kind of hit a rut there. Not saying that he was playing horrible. I mean, they lost to Ohio State. That's it, But it was good to see him. I think he had like 4 touchdowns. So it was just good to see him break out. It'll be interesting to see what happens this week in Central Florida. Especially with the atmosphere. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a good game.
So, Danny, what is your prediction for this Friday night's game?
Ooh, can't put me on the spot with that one. Obviously, being a Bearcat, I'm going to go with my boys. Hopefully a blackout type atmosphere. I'm going to go with them a win, and I'm going to give them probably about, let's say, 7-point differential there. I think they'll win by a touchdown. I think if Desmond Ridder can pull off what he did against Marshall, being confident in that pocket, making some solid throws, and then we get the run game established in the second half, I think we can wear them down. They're talented. UCF is absolutely talented, and maybe we can get 1 or 2 turnovers that can help us jump that lead.
Yeah, I agree with you. Obviously, that's an important part, establishing that run game. I mean, Ridder definitely was lighting it up passing-wise this last week, but getting the run game consistent, and they got the talent. I mean, they got 3-4 deep at running back, so they've got a lot of potential there. Now, of course, the UCF, they're kind of in the same boat as UC. They've only lost the one game. They lost to Pitt in a close one. Wow. I mean, and they beat Stanford. They beat UConn. So, I mean, they've got some good wins. Florida A&M, that was just ugly. But, they've done some good things. So, I agree with you. It's going to be a challenge, but I do believe UC will win. I'm thinking UC is going to win, 28, 24, something like that. How about you, Mark? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think that's a good call. I think what's important is looking at that Pitt game. It was at Pitt. Pitt was pumped up for the game, big time, big stage. UCF was in control there late in the game. And Pitt was able to come back on them. And actually, I believe when they did it throwing the ball up-tempo. So I think that can play into UC's hands. I'm thinking field goal, UC by a field goal in the 27-24 range, something like that.
Sounds good. Let's see, what else good stuff we got going on. So, like we already talked about the big basketball event, the Midnight Madness. We got the UCF game, of course, covered the Marshall. And then, Danny, any final thoughts? Any things you want to catch up our listeners about?
No, not really. I think just get out there and support the Bearcats. I think they are on the right track. I think Coach Fickle is going to be here for a while. I think he's going to be really turning this boat back around from when Coach Tuberville was here, and hopefully get it back to that Brian Kelly days. I think not only does the Bearcats deserve it, but that they're looking like the talent is starting to get put together and, put on a show. So I think this Friday night will absolutely be a great test, and it'll be hopefully one that the fans can be a part of and make it real tough for the visitors when they come into Nippert. So I'm just excited. I think it's going to be a hell of a run all season long. Even if things don't go the way we planned Friday, it's still a long season, and I think that the Bearcats are doing it right, whether it's basketball or football. I think the campus looks beautiful. I think the additions they made, the new business center, or business school rather, is unbelievable. Again, wish I was only there couple of years ago, and the whole place looks different. So it is a top college in the country, and hopefully people are starting to see that.
Sounds great. Thank you for joining us, Danny.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Danny.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I appreciate being on.
Dude, sorry about the phone problems.
No worries. It happens. But yeah,
That's crazy.
Danny was great as always. And it's always good to get caught up with him, hearing about his coaching and just, how he's giving back to the community. And like you were saying, I mean, that was a great game this last weekend.
Yeah. Well, I think they can pull it off this week. I really do. I think them coming up here, it's going to rattle them a little bit. So we'll see. Keep our fingers crossed.
Exactly. Yeah, I was going to say any little advantage we can get because even though we are really happy with how UC's doing, they're progressing. It's just UCF, as well as they've been playing these last couple of years, it's it does concern you.
Yeah, they're good, man. They're good. So it'll be a fun game.
And then hopefully Danny's correct. Hopefully he's right about UCF. Or not UCF, Coach Fickle staying around for a while.
Oh, I agree. I'd love to see him here for the long haul. He's a good one.
Excellent. And then, of course, so the game is going to be at 8 o'clock on Friday. And it's going to be on ESPN, but hopefully people will be at the game and not, watching it on ESPN. Obviously, if it sells out, from there, definitely check out the ESPN. And then, of course, let's see what else. Oh, and then, of course, right after the game, you got the Midnight Madness, so fans definitely should stick around. And that's free, so that don't need a ticket or anything like that. So that's worth checking out. So
It doesn't get much better than that.
Oh, my gosh, no. It's going to be a wonderful day. I'm going to be exhausted on Saturday, but it's going to be a wonderful day on Friday. Yeah.
Yes, it will.
Yeah, Friday I'm going to be all about it. Saturday I'm going to be going, why did I do this again?
Yeah, exactly.
But, yeah.
Exactly.
It was great having him on the show,
Yep,
and definitely we want to sign off for the Grueling Truth Radio Network. James Ernest and Mark Fightmaster of UC Bearcats on the Prowl.